Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, here with Chris Daly of S10 Fitness in Point Loma, San Diego. I don't know my neighborhoods. He's got some really cool things with kettlebells. This is a kettlebell swing variation, and it is an absolute destroyer. So will you explain what you're doing and why? The point of this is we're taking the hamstrings out of it.
Predominantly what I would say is you're shortening some of the lever arm for the athlete and you're not requiring as much hamstring extension on the backswing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to amplify primarily just glute and hip extension. So what most people would consider like a glute bridge instead of a deadlift or a squat now that's become so popular, this is something that I would call more a glute focused swing. And when you break it down into this position, you might get people to really understand what hip extension is rather than just casting the bell out. So I use it as an accessory exercise, or I could use it as a regression to train people more succinctly into the full movement.
He also made a point about if people have lower extremity injuries, you can remove it from the equation, which is what I always like to do. You can continue to train with injury.
Yeah, you can have plenty of intensity with this exercise, even if you have a sprained ankle or a rolled ankle or maybe like an Achilles related injury, and you can still train the athlete up through maximum intensity without danger. So as long as you give people permission to move and move well, this is just a way to get them going.
Perfect, I love this. Can we talk about the wrap first?
Sure, I mean, more times than not.
Get this thing out of here.
Yep. So you just find a fixed anchor point. What I normally do is you take any one of these elite bands or any bands that you have, you set that position through, and then you can just feed it through the backside. I like having this position going towards the fulcrum so that when it gets tight, it's not interrupting the athlete's grip, and it's actually not gonna, screw up their hands. Sometimes if it's loaded in the front, you'll have this thing where it wants to tip the bell. So once you have that, you could pull this implement back, stick it under any bench, and then reposition yourself. And then now, based on the level of tension you want at the top of the motion, you can set the athlete up and make sure that they're under tension the entire time. Or if you have somebody who you really want who's like tall, you might want to just pull it out, get the tension there. Or if you have somebody who has really good low end power, have them under load the entire time. You can really have a lot of management with this. And then just set the benches up so that they're safe. Now the fun part about this is teaching people to balance on their knees, which is a good skill, and you know what? Any athlete worth its weight should learn. So basically what you'll have, you set yourself up like this, make sure you have adequate clearance through this movement here. I tend to hook my feet like that as a variation just for stability's purposes, and then you set the athlete up, you get them in their fixed position here, you get them in their long, tall posture, whatever you want to cue, and then basically you just have them snap, and then work the full hip extension. And then the deeper they go, the more it might be, more and more extension. But if they really want to challenge themselves, they could just move forward an inch and add, 10 pounds of load.
By extending the band further and further and further, greater amounts of.
And I like this vector because, we're always trying to go that way. Yeah. This is going to happen as a byproduct. So if you set them up back here, they could really load it, and then they have a lot less tension. And then as they explode, they can finish really hard. But find what works for you. Have fun. That's always number one. And actually make sure you're targeting what you're after. If you don't feel it where you want to, move up, move back. As a coach, cue the hip extension, cue something with the eyes, keep them on a fixed target. Have fun.
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I can't believe I haven't seen people doing this before, because you see people doing banded hip extensions from the kneeling position, but I personally haven't seen the banded kneeling kettlebell swing.
I think it just comes down to ego. A lot of people don't think they look cool doing this, and then they don't want to do it. But I don't care what I look like. I just want to get better.
I love this exercise. I tried this exercise. It destroyed me, and I do kettlebell marathons. And like one set of 10 of this just fired my glutes up in a whole new way. It's humbling, and that's what you want from training. You want to always be trying to get better, and this is a great idea. Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
That's super cool.